In this lesson, we'll look for arcs to correct in the legs, and we'll also add more weight to the upper body. Let's focus on the legs first. Now, right now, with the arms moving and with the character's head also in motion, it's a bit distracting to just focus on the legs. Now, if you were to go ahead and select the global control, you'll notice that we have these viz channels that we can use to hide certain parts of the character. So I find that to be very convenient. So let's go ahead and hide the character's head. We'll also control click the right and left arms. Let's go ahead and put in a value of 0. And now we can just focus on the torso and the legs. Beautiful. All right, so we'll start with our left leg. With that selected, let's go ahead and find our Editable Motion Trails tool under the Animate menu. Here it is. Let's go ahead and grab the option box and we will reset the settings. All right, so what we want this to do is create a trail throughout the entire range of the animation. You see that with frame 15 missing, if we were to go ahead and choose Apply, most of the curve will print, but you'll notice that there's a bit of a gap here. So all we need to do here is go ahead and remove the motion trail. We could always select where we see a red line, press the delete key, and now let's go ahead and bring our range to 15. Grab our left leg. We'll go back to create the motion trail and choose create. All right, beautiful. So no longer is that gap there. All right, so now it's just a matter of going through and looking for areas to add arcs. Now I'd like to mention that there's not always going to be a perfect arc in your animation. For realism, sometimes we need to add dirt to our arcs, meaning that sometimes the arcs are a bit more sharper than you may realize. And a good way to track this is to take some video reference and then go ahead and track your arcs from the video reference. You might be surprised at what you find. But let's go to frame 3. Clearly we need an arc here, so we could always go ahead and go to our Translate Y and lift up the foot a bit more to create the arc. All right, great. So that's looking nice. Now we need to adjust the foot here as it slides back to make sure it slides back at a constant speed. Otherwise, if we decide on translating this run forward, you'll notice that there is a lot of unwanted sliding that might be quite difficult to clean up without us doing this step of making sure that the leg again moves back at a constant speed as it plants. So let's work on that. We'll go to the graph editor and find our translate z-axis. And this is actually quite simple to tweak. Again, we're just looking at the time where the foot plants, so that's from 4 to 8. From the down position back to our passing position. So what we need to do here is go ahead and select the keys on 4 and 8. We'll break their tangents. We could do that from the toolbar at the top, or we could always right click and choose break tangents from here. Now, with both keys still selected, we'll hold down shift and grab the out tangent of 4, the in tangent of 8, and we'll set their interpolation to linear. Beautiful. So now the foot will move back at a constant speed. Great. Let's go ahead and continue working on our arcs. So it looks like on frame 9, we need to go to the z-axis and push that leg out just a bit more to fix the arc there. So I've just pushed it out in the z-axis. Great. When we get to frame 13, we'll need to go ahead and bring up our leg a bit more. Excellent. All right, great. So this is looking nice. So I think that we're good to go with this leg. Then we could always spend a little bit of time cleaning up our function curves. But let's go ahead and start working on the right side, and then we can go ahead and work on cleaning up the legs later on. All right, so once we're satisfied, we'll go ahead and select our motion trail, again selecting anywhere where we see a red area here, and we'll press the delete key. All right, so now it's time to work on the right side. We'll go ahead and create a motion trail and get right to it. So we know that we tweaked frame 3, So for the right leg, that's going to be frame 10. That's the mirrored frame. So let's go ahead and select the left leg. We'll go to the translate Y, copy that value. We'll go to frame 10, select the right leg, and paste in that translate Y value. Great. So you get the idea here. We also tweaked frame 9. So we'll go to the left leg again, copy the Z-axis value. We'll need to go to frame 2, select the right leg, and paste in that value in the Z-axis. Excellent. We tweaked frame 13, so its mirror will be frame 6. All right, so let's go to 13, select the left leg, copy the translate Y. We'll now go to frame 6, grab the right leg, and paste in that value. Great. Now we need to make sure that the leg comes back at a constant speed, so let's go ahead and take a look at our down position and then the passing position. So here we have it, 11 and 15. We'll go ahead and select both keys, break our tangents, grab the out tangent of 11, the in tangent of 15, and set our tangents to linear. We'll go ahead and make sure that we shift select both tangents again. Might need to adjust the view a bit more just to make sure that we're grabbing the tangents we need. Okay, there we have it. Now this out tangent on 15, to adjust this, all we need to do is go ahead and flatten that out. Now if we were to take a look at our infinite curve, okay, you'll notice that it's going to be a lot easier for us to kind of polish the animation here as the leg moves forward again. All right, great. So that's looking much nicer now. All right, let's say we go ahead and now work on the upper body. And this will be a pretty quick change. So this won't take much time at all. And then in the next lesson, we can go ahead and work on cleaning up the animation in the legs. So go to our center of gravity control, and here's what we'll do to add weight. We need to start working on our translate Y-axis. Let's go ahead and frame it up. Now first things first, we know that the foot plants officially on frame 5, not on frame 4, so we'll need to offset our keys here. We also want to make sure that there's a bit of a hold in the character's upper body so that we have a natural lift in the hips. All right, so here's what we'll do. All we need to do is go ahead and select our function curve, and we can offset all of our keys here 2 frames to our right to delay the timing. So here's an expression we can use. Let's go to our key stats. We'll go to the frame field, and we'll type in as follows. It's going to be plus equals 2, and now you'll notice that we have shifted over each key 2 frames. All right, great. Excellent. So from here, just taking a look, what we can now do is start working on adding weight. We need to make sure that the hips fall faster when we get to our down position, and we need to go ahead and smooth out the time where they start to lift. Beautiful. You also notice by delaying our keys, we have a nice hold that we can improve. We can always adjust our tangents so that we have more of an overshoot. But let's go ahead and work on one thing at a time, and then I'll show you how to keep these in range to finish up the lesson. So let's go to our down position keys. We'll break our tangents. We'll now go ahead and select the in tangents of both keys. We'll hold down the middle mouse button and start to lift upward. And here's what's going to happen. Now we have more of a hold in the air, and then the hips fall faster, as opposed to the ease in we had initially. Great. So that's going to work out wonderfully. So now we need to go ahead and keep them in range. It's not totally necessary, but if you're working on, let's say, a game animation where you need to make sure all keys are in range, this is not going to cut it. We can't have our keys out of this cycle range. So to keep them in range, here's what we do. We go to a point where the F curve is still in range. So you can see that's on 15. That wouldn't be on frame 1 because we're dealing with our infinite curve. So we'll go to frame 15, we'll select our function curve, and we'll use the insert key tool on our key toolbar here. Let's go ahead and select that. And now we can go ahead and middle click on frame 15, and the key has been created. Now what we could do is head over to frame 1 and middle click to create a key of the same value that we have on 15. Let's press the W key so we can start to adjust our tangents and such. But before we do that, notice we have this key out of range that does nothing for us on 17, so we can delete that. You can see how the curve is coming together now. Let's select the key on 15, shift select the key on 1, flatten our tangents, grab the out tangents of both keys, and now start to drag up with the middle mouse button and take a look. In no time at all, we have our F curve in range, and it looks beautiful. Take a look at the infinite curve to see that everything is working properly. If we were to go ahead and close out of our graph editor, you'll notice that we now have a good sense of weight in the upper body. How exciting is that? So in this lesson, we have improved the arcs and the legs. We've also made sure that the upper body has a great sense of weight, which is awesome. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and delete this motion trail that we had on the right leg, and we'll stop the lesson here. In the next lesson, we're going to work on polishing our legs.